With the Canucks season starting up in just about a week, I think we're a week and a day away from the season starting. Opening night is getting so close. I'm so excited. It's time to go through one last time and give my final Vancouver Canucks lineup predictions. I have done this video twice before. I did it in July, back when Joshua and Shelovs were still on the team, and then I did it in I did it in August, I think about halfway through August maybe. Going through after the trades, and now we have preseason and training camp to go through. That kind of changed our opinions a little bit, and now the lineup's going to look a little different. How's it going? I'm CanucksLand. Welcome back to another video, or welcome to a video if this is your first time watching. Today, as I said, we're going to go through my final lineup predictions for the Vancouver Canucks. I will make the ones that are very obvious pretty quick, and then I'll go through explaining the ones and how it's changed. But let's hop right into Puckpedia here. As you can see, I got two other tabs open because I copied my other lineup predictions. So let's hop over to the first one. Let's see how it's changed throughout here. The first line was Jake DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson, and Evander Kane. The second line was Drew O'Connor with Philip Hedl and Brock Besser. The third line was Dakota Joshua, Teddy Blueger, and Connor Garland. The fourth line was Nils Hoglander, Aatu Räty, and Kiefer Sherwood. The defense was Quinn Hughes, Philip Hronek. The Marcus Pettersson, Tyler Myers line, Derek Forbort, Elias Pettersson, the defenseman. And then we had Linus Karlsson, Arshdeep Bains, and P.O. Joseph on the bench with Demko and Lankinen. The goaltending, obviously, you can see Dakota Joshua has the Toronto Maple Leafs logo behind him now. If we go over to the next one, there is no Dakota Joshua. It was before the trade. You can even go, I don't think Shelovs is here. No, because this is post-trade, and Shelovs wouldn't be there. But yeah. If we go over here now, the first line stays the same, Jake DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson, and Evander Kane. The second line goes to Connor Garland with Philip Hedl and Brock Besser. The third line goes Nils Hoglander, Teddy Blueger, and Kiefer Sherwood, with the fourth line being Drew O'Connor, Aatu Räty, and Linus Karlsson. So Drew O'Connor drops two lines, Aatu Räty moves up one, Connor Garland moves up one, Sherwood moves up one, and everything else really stays the same. Quinn Hughes and Philip Hronek with Marcus Pettersson, Tyler Myers, Derek Forbort, DP. Defense stays the same. Scratched Niels Oman, Arshdeep Bains, and Victor Mancini. Adding Joshua on means Linus Karlsson joins the roster, so that means we had Niels Oman up there now, and the goaltending, Kevin Lankinen and Thatcher Demko. So now, let's hop into what I think, what are my final lineup predictions. First and foremost, before we get into it, Hoglander is on the injury reserve, so I fit him in on the fourth line here. I just didn't really see where he fit in the top six. You can move him there, I guess, but I don't know. I like the chemistry of this line last season. That's why I went with it. Then we moved him up to the third line, but now he's not even going to be on the roster. So let's start with the first line. And the first line is different, but the first two stay the same. Elias Pettersson and Jake DeBrusk are left wing and center on the first line. The second line, not the second line, but the next player on the first line is Brock Besser. I moved him up because that's the line they've been using, and that's what I think they're going to stick with. I think Brock Besser's going to be up on that first line. Now, the reason I had Kane up there is I thought Kane might work a little bit better than Besser has with Pettersson, but this line's looked pretty good through the one game we've seen. We'll see how they play tonight. They have a game tonight and then a game on Friday, where we'll probably see this line two more times. We'll see how they play, but for now, they look pretty good. Defensively, these are the two that is very easy. Quinn Hughes, left defense top pairing with Philip Hronek. That's always going to be our top pair. They might make some changes during the season, but as of right now, this is the top pair. And then the goaltending's obvious. It's Thatcher Demko and Kevin Lankinen. Those are the two obvious, because there's only two goaltenders you can have on the roster. Tolopilo is not going to be in Vancouver. We're not going to carry three goaltenders. It's Thatcher Demko, Kevin Lankinen, Quinn Hughes, Philip Hronek, and then Jake DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser. The next most obvious thing I would see is Marcus Pettersson playing with Tyler Myers. I think that this is going to be the top four. The top four is very locked with the Vancouver Canucks. I think that this line is so good defensively, and I think this line has very good offensive upside, and you even have offensive upside with Tyler Myers. You cannot deny that Tyler Myers does look like Connor McDavid at certain points during the season. He'll jump on the rush and deke a few guys and score. So there is a little bit of offensive upside, but this line is very, very good. Philip Hedl is a lock at 2C. there's no one else who can beat him out for the 2C at the moment. I know there's one guy who we will get to, who people think could be the 2C. I think of the future he'll be the 2C. But Evander Kane is another player that will move in onto the second line. If he's not on the first line for me, he's not going to drop all the way down to the third line. Evander Kane's going to be the left winger on the second line. Connor Garland. I'm actually going to put Connor Garland left wing, on the third line. Now, you might be thinking, that's pretty crazy. Connor Garland, without Niels Hoglander in the lineup, should be here. And you know what? If we were going based off of skill, I agree. But if we're putting Connor Garland here, there's a room opened up for a top six forward who most people probably didn't expect to be up there at the moment. We'll keep it a secret for now, but I think most of you know who he is. Kiefer Sherwood, he's going to move in on the right side on that third line, so you're going to have two very solid guys, and Connor Garland's kind of going to lead the line here on this third line. Now, Connor Garland is a right wing, but he can play the left side. The reason I don't put him on the right side is because Kiefer Sherwood doesn't play the left side. And now we have center opened up, but before we get to that, we're going to move to Drew O'Connor. Drew O'Connor is going to drop down to the fourth line here. He stays in his spot. Connor Garland does drop down, but that's because of this up-and-coming, very good player who, if I think plays good these next two games, which no doubt I think he could because he's looked very good, should honestly earn this roster spot because I don't think you can see him anywhere in the bottom six, maybe the third line, but bottom six, I don't know. Teddy Bluger, I'm actually going to put down fourth line center. Now, I think Aatu Räty hasn't really earned enough to be the third line center, but I think if you put Teddy Bluger here, it makes a little bit more sense what the line combination is going to make. It just, him and Drew O'Connor make this fourth line more solid, but you could also put Teddy Bluger up here, because with the guy you're going to put here, you have a little bit more offensive upside. Next up is Aatu Räty. Speaking of which, Aatu Räty I'm going to put in the middle. I think if you put Aatu Räty, who's a very good face-off taker, and then you have two really good defensive players in Connor Garland and Kiefer Sherwood, and then you got Aatu Räty there, it could work out. Wins the draw defensively, they get up, get out of the zone, and then if Aatu Räty needs help defensively, you got a guy like Connor Garland, you got a guy like Kiefer Sherwood who can help take over. They will help defensively. You could put Aatu Räty down here because Linus Karlsson is next up, and he will move into this fourth line right wing spot. You could also move Karlsson to center, but I don't think you could really do that. I wouldn't do it. But the reason you can see now, a little bit more offensive upside. I think Karlsson is very, accidentally clicking on him. I do think Karlsson's very good on both ends of the ice in Abbotsford. I'm not sure how the defensive side is going to transition to the NHL. But Linus Karlsson has a lot of offensive upside. So does Aatu Räty. But if you do these lines, it kind of evens it out to have a little bit more of a reliable defensive, to more defensive forwards there as I accidentally click on them. So you got Sherwood, you got Garland who will help Räty, you got O'Connor, you got Bluger who will help Karlsson. Gives them a little bit of leeway. Now, to the player that everyone probably knew I was going to put there, but I wanted to keep it a surprise. Jonathan Lecker-Mackey up on the second line. Call me crazy, I think he's earned it. His Filipino looked pretty good. I think he ends up making the power play. Speaking of which, next week's Wednesday video is going to be all special teams where I'll go through all the penalty kill, all the power play, and give my opinions on how they think they should run those. Penalty kills are going to be a little tough for me. I'm going to have to try to figure that out because I'm not sure how the penalty kill is going to look here in Vancouver this season. But power play, we've got to look at it. And yeah, I got to remake my graphics. I made graphics before, but the power play is a little different. And I agree with what the Canucks went with, more with what I went with. Elias Pettersson, I actually think that defensive DPD has earned his right side here, but he could also have earned this left side, but for now I'm going to move him here. I'm going to go where the money is on this one. As good as Victor Mancini has been, I'm going to go with the money on this one and say that Derek Forbort is going to stick on that left side bottom pair just over the fact they gave him $2 million. Why would you give Derek Forbort $2 million if you're not going to play him? Unless they trade him, that's the way I see it going. So then that leaves Victor Mancini to be the first guy to jump into the press box. And next up, we have Niels Oman, who's going to jump into the press box. Same with Arshdeep Bains. Now, do I think that Max Sasson has earned a spot over Arshdeep Bains? Yes. Do I think that it's easier to send down Max Sasson just due to his waiver ineligibility? Yes. That's the only reason Max Sasson's down there. It's just not worth the risk sending Baines down if you can send Sasson down and give Sasson more time. Braden Coots I'm going to put in press box 4, but in all honesty, Braden Coots is going to get sent down to the WHL at some point unless he impresses a lot. He has these next 2 games to earn the 9-game stint, and I think he will. He's looked very good. I think that he does earn the 9-game stint, and I will give you a secondary roster. That's why he's going to still be in the press box. But I think eventually he does go to the WHL. But if he doesn't impress, maybe they just send him to the WHL. Maybe that's what they think is best for him. Now, do I think that this is going to be the 100% opening night roster? I don't think so. Call me crazy. I think this might be the opening night roster. I think you send Niels Oman down. Now, and a lot of people are going to be worried about sending Niels Oman down. Every team has a Niels Oman. I don't think I'm too worried sending him down. I do not think he'll be claimed. But I do think Oman's good. I'm not knocking Oman. You're going to move Linus Karlsson to the press box. You're going to move Aatu Räty to the left side. You can move him on either side with Drew O'Connor on that bottom line. And you throw Braden Coots right down in the middle at third C. I think that works because you have a guy like Connor Garland to help him. You have a guy like Kiefer Sherwood to help him. These guys will get into the corners to help Braden Coots not have to worry about getting into the corners. It takes a little bit of physicality off of Coots' game, and he can really worry about the offense. It could benefit him like a lot. I think that it definitely can benefit him. This could be the opening night roster for the Vancouver Canucks, but if they send Braden Coots down to the WHL and they don't think that they want to give him the 9 games, they think that it's best, it's whatever management thinks, this is what the lines will look like with Aatu Räty as third-line center and Linus Karlsson down there. I don't think you move Sherwood or Garland down for Aatu Räty if you're putting Braden Coots on that line. But yeah, honestly, there's 2 ways this can go, and I'm giving you 2 lineup predictions because I'm not quite sure what they're going to go with. But the first one is Jake DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser. Just a great first line, should work well together. Evander Kane looks good so far. Filipino looks amazing so far. Jonathan Lekermacki also looks really good so far. I feel like the chemistry is kind of building between these two, and this guy will kind of fit in perfectly with that line. Connor Garland, Aatu Räty, and Kiefer Sherwood gives a little bit of help to Aatu Räty in the corners, and then allows Aatu Räty, because he did have a short summer, to help figure out his game just a little bit more. Drew O'Connor, Teddy Blueger, Linus Karlsson, that's a solid 4th line. But yet again, the Vancouver Canucks could go with this. I'm going to leave Niels Oman up because it doesn't really matter for me if I send him down or not. And then you just switch out Räty. I have to go all the way back down now. And boom. And then you put Braden Coots in the middle and you just test him out on a more solid line. So you don't have to really worry about... I understand putting him on the 4th line with like Teddy Blueger up there maybe, and sheltering his minutes, but honestly put him on the 3rd line. It's not too high of minutes, but it also gives him enough minutes to where he can make an impact on the game, and it puts him in between 2 very solid players. Kiefer Sherwood got 40 points last year. Connor Garland got 50 points last year. So yeah, I think that could benefit Braden Coots, but if they do send him to the WHL, then the lines will be this. So yeah, those are my 2. I have 2 variations because we're still not done the preseason. We still don't know how it's going to go, but that's probably what's going to happen. But without further ado, that is it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have set a personal goal to try to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this upcoming season. So if you enjoy this kind of content and you enjoyed this video and you're a Canucks fan, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Like this video as well. Leave a comment down below. Do you agree with these line pairings? Do you think there's some slight changes that you would make? Honestly, I think there are some variations. I gave you one of them. There's a defensive variation that I also said with Mancini moving in. You could put P.O. Joseph as your extra guy and trade Forbert out of there, but to save a little cap space. But I think with the $2 million Forbert Scott, he's going to be there. The video on your right is the video from Monday. The video on your left is the video from Friday. Subscribe's right down to there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.